So yeah, that's one middleware. We got some other middleware that we want to use. So we're gonna say app.use, and we're gonna say express.json, like that. This one basically allows a client to send us JSON, basically. Without this, you would have to manually put together the bits yourself to make JSON work, and that would suck. So this does it for you. And then the last one is express.url encoded. And I think there's like an option here, extended true or something like that. So URL encoded allows a client to add things like a query string and parameters, and it like decodes and encodes that properly. Whereas if you don't do that, it kind of just treats everything like a string. So I don't know if you've ever seen a query string, right? So like in a query string on a URL, you can have like, like for instance, google.com, and then like it's a query string, and then it's like A equals that, and then comma, thing equals some other thing, right? Like URL encoded will take all of this and put it in an object for you. So you can just use like query.a, query.thing, versus like trying to get it yourself off the string, which is annoying, right? So cool. So we'll get those. And then now we're gonna make our own middleware. So let's just make one for fun. You can follow along and make one that I'm making, or you can just make your own and have it do anything you want, because we're probably just going to erase it anyway. It's not practical, but I want you to get into the feeling of making something. So I'm going to say app.use here, and I'm just going to make my middleware right inside of here like this. And I'm going to say request, response, next. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to augment the request object. So I'm going to say, rec.secret equals doggy. Okay, so I'm adding something to the request object, and then I'm saying, yeah, next. Go next. Right. So any single request that's registered after this middleware is registered will now have access to rec.secret. So I should be able to go into. I'm going to go all the way into my router. I'm going to go into this /product one, and I'm going to send back, instead of hello, I'm going to send back rec.secret, like that. Because this should have access to it, because this came after me registering my middleware. So I should have it. Let's see. So I'm going to stop my server, start it again, go back here, run this code, and there you go. I get back doggy. My middleware augmented the request object. It attached some new information to it. And because the handler that I was logging that information was registered after the middleware, it benefited from this middleware happening first. So if I were to put a log in this middleware and then put a log in the handler, you would see that the middleware would log first, because it was written first. Or it was attached to the app first, not written first, but yeah, it was registered first. So yeah, you can make your middleware do whatever you want. And just to show you an example of how a middleware can stop the execution of something, instead of doing that, I can just say, I can just not say next, and I can just be like, you know what? No, I'm just going to stop you right now. Status is 401, res.send. Nope, I can just do that. I don't even need the secret thing anymore, because it's not even useful. And now it doesn't matter what request I make, it's always going to 401 and say no. No matter what URL I put in, it's always going to happen. So I can go here, and it literally doesn't matter. I can run this, and it's going to say for unauthorized nope. I believe I can even put anything here, and it would say the same thing. Right? It doesn't matter, because it's always doing it. It never goes to. I never call next. I never move on to the next thing. And because this is registered before any other route is registered, none of the routes even get considered because I'm immediately ending the response or the request right here in this middleware. And this middleware is registered globally at the top. So it's pretty powerful. You can do some pretty powerful stuff in middleware. Obviously don't want to do that, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And I'm gonna get rid of that. Just go back to message. Yeah, question.
What would happen if next was in app.get right before the console.log?
If next was an app.get before the then that would, if you put next here and you said next here, what's going to happen is there's nothing next for this to go. There's nowhere left because now we took what was a handler, which you can think of a handler as like a middleware. It's like the last middleware. It's like that's the end of the road. There's nothing after this. Like let's follow the stack. Someone makes a request. This gets executed. This gets executed. This gets executed. Then it's like, okay, what route did you call? Oh, they did a get request to slash. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to execute this. And then you immediately call next. What's next? There's nothing else left. We don't have any other middleware. We don't have any other route that matches this. Like nothing would happen. You would actually get a hanging server most likely or an error from Express. So yeah, by saying next, you're telling Express that this is a middleware when in fact this function thinks it's a handler because of how it's behaving. So yeah, you probably want to get the result that you thought. Oh yeah, and then the other thing I want to talk about with the middleware is that you can add as many middleware as you want. You can just comma separate them. You can literally add as many as you want, either by doing it this way or just drop it in a whole array of middleware. Right? You just drop a whole array. Either way, it works the same. The only other thing is that like if you needed your middleware to take options, kind of like URL encoded right here takes option and how Morgan takes options, you just make your middleware a function that returns a function, right? So you would make, custom logger is a function that returns a function, right? And this function has rec response next, and then you can do your log. I'm gonna console.log. Hello from, and then I can have an option you pass in here like message, and I can say hello from message. And then I can call next. All right, so now I have a custom logger, and when I come down here, I can say app.use custom logger. It's a function that returns a function and it takes in a message. So I can say hello from custom logger, like that. And that's how you have your middleware take in an argument. You would just do that. It's just a function that returns another function.
Can we chain middleware in a nested form?
You can chain middleware if you want to, but the recommended approach is to compose middleware, either manually just putting them in an array, or there's literally plugins called compose middleware that I used to use. I haven't used them in a while. Compose middleware. Yeah, so you can compose them kind of like this, which again just puts them in an array anyway. So it's like you can just do it yourself. Cool. Any other questions about middleware? Okay. This is also where you would do something like cores. So if you wanted to use cores, you can just npm install cores, save, and then you can import cores from cores, and then at the top of your app, you can say app.use cores. So what is cores? Cross-origin research sharing. Basically, it's a thing. Browsers are super sketched. They're terrified that they should allow you to talk to other resources. So cores is just a configuration that you can put on your server that will tell a browser, who or what can access this API. And by default, this means everybody can access this API. Doesn't mean you're going to get access. You still got to be authenticated. But as far as like you as a client, you can be authenticated here. But you can like block on IP levels and different requests and different. You can block on all types of stuff. This just means everything and everyone can at least try to get access to this. So Cores is a middleware. So when you think of like how do I change configuration to my server, it's middleware.